This is Midrash Tanchuma on Midrash Bechukotai, and is entitled "When Mankind Perceives God as the Enemy." So there's something very fascinating going on there in the Midrash. The Midrash is sort of getting into the mind of God, and sort of pointing out that God is grieved by the fact that because of the misdeeds of the Jewish people, that there have to be consequences. Call them punishments, call them growth opportunities, whatever you want to call them. These punishments are considered, to be harsh, and the people conveniently forget that the punishments came because of their misdeeds, and then turn the tables and start to think of God as the enemy. And as you know, in the Torah, there's it famously says, describing God as Kel Rachum V'Chanun, all merciful, and in Eicha, God is actually described as Haya Hashem Koyev, right? And that God is perceived because of these punishments as the enemy, because again, people forget conveniently that they were the cause and the catalyst for these punishments, and they just look at as being recipients of something that they don't know where it came from. And God is very pained, so to speak, about this. So the alternative is that people by nature should not sin, and then we wouldn't get into this bind. But that, of course, is not an option. And the Midrash proves it with a very delightful story that before Adam was created, so they protested, the angels protested and said, "Why would you want to create Adam? They're going to break your Torah." So God said, "Well, the whole purpose of the world is for people to keep the Torah. Who do you propose is going to keep the Torah?" And they gleefully said, "We will keep the Torah." And God said, "Oh, really? Let me quote you from the Torah that I have. Let's see, there are laws about, people giving birth. There are laws about foods that you are allowed to eat and not allowed to eat. There are laws about death. None of these things apply to you. You neither give birth nor eat nor die. So sorry, you cannot keep the Torah, and that is the purpose of the world." So as a conclusion, I'll just quote from myself. Angels don't comprehend the complex, ennobling interplay between man and God. Oftentimes we have to fall in order to grow. This in turns has the potential to bring us closer to God. An angel's diminished ability to sin is a dramatic limitation which inhibits their potential for spiritual growth. Although God is saddened by the fact that he is misconstrued as the enemy, allowing there to be no consequences for our actions is not an option. Have a great Shabbos.